Good morning, everyone. I'm going to do a real short video on how to properly start up the torch that we're going to use for Oxy Fuel cutting in welding 2 and welding 3, and then I'm also going to do a short video on how to shut it down. I'm going to break them into 2 videos, that way it's not so long for each combined thing. I just think it'd be more straightforward if we just do one for starting it up, one for shutting it down. Okay, here's the deal. Proper dress for Oxy Fuel cutting is always going to be leather boots, your jeans, your coveralls, a welding jacket, some type of hat, and your leather gloves, your safety glasses, your goggles, etc. I am not cutting today. I'm simply doing a video to start it up. So I'm just wearing my reading glasses right now under the circumstances. Okay, I want to keep this short, sweet, to the point. We do not want to spend class time taking written tests over and over. This is a one and done deal. I want you to get it right the first time. So watch these steps. On your safety test that you have to take from me, you're going to be taking a written test, blue in color, and it simply says, what are the 8 steps in proper order to start this torch up and set it up properly? I need you to do them in order. This cannot be mixed up. It's super important that it is done in the right order. So I want you to watch this video as many times as it takes for you to get this into your head of what to do and how to do it properly, and it's gonna be very easy. So let me walk you through this. Okay, step 1, when you get up to the torch system, you guys, the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to the regulator adjusting screws and back them out. Real simple. So back out the regulator adjusting screws on both oxygen and acetylene. I don't care which ones you do first. Doing them both is the first step. Okay, step number 2. We are ready to start opening this thing up. So step number 2 is open up the oxygen tank valve all the way. So oxygen's tank valve all the way for step 2. Step number 3, we're going to open up the acetylene tank valve a quarter to a half a turn. The reason we do it such a small amount is that in case there was an emergency with the flame side of things, we could quickly shut it off with one crank and you've stopped the flow of the flammable gas to the torch. So that next step, turn acetylene tank valve open a quarter to a half a turn. So in review, first 3 steps. Step 1, back the regulator adjusting screws out on both oxygen and acetylene. Step 2, open the oxygen tank valve all the way on the oxygen tank, completely all the way open. Step 3, open the acetylene valve at the tank a quarter to a half a turn. Okay, we're good there. All right, step number 4. We're going to adjust the oxygen regulator adjusting screw to 37 pounds. I like 37 instead of 40. I'll explain here in a minute. More detail on that. Oxygen to 37 pounds. Okay? Everybody got that? All right. Next step, number 5. Adjust the acetylene regulator adjusting screw to 5 pounds. So now I'm going to talk about this situation. You guys, a lot of welding teachers will teach 40 pounds for oxygen, 10 pounds for acetylene. I prefer 37 pounds of oxygen, 5 for acetylene. I'm not saying that 40 and 10 is wrong. Lots of guys use it and it works fine for them. I prefer 37 and 5 because it actually gets you a richer amount of oxygen in the system, which helps your torch cut hotter and helps you cut cleaner. So in my class, I want you using 37 and 5, okay? Let's review the steps. Again, repeating them. Step 1, get up here. Back out the regulator adjusting screws. Step 2, open all the way the oxygen valve at the tank, turn it on completely all the way. Step 3, we're going to open acetylene tank valve quarter to a half a turn. Step 4, adjust regulator adjusting screw on the oxygen to 37. Step 5, adjust the acetylene regulator adjusting screw to 5 pounds. Okay, so 37 on oxygen, 5 on acetylene. Okay, we're actually ready to start this thing up. Okay, So what we're going to do here, you guys, is I'm going to start this up. And the way I prefer to hold this, because I'm right-handed, is I like to hold the torch in my right hand, but I kind of brace it. I just lay it across the top, that way I can strike right here. So I'm laying it about at my wrist, that way I can run the striker, and then my left hand will be running the torch. Okay, our next step then is going to be to crack open the acetylene valve about 1/4 of a turn at the torch, and then immediately I'm going to strike this, and of course the acetylene flame is going to start, and there's going to be a bunch of black soot. We don't want this black soot floating all over the shop. So what I want you to do, as soon as you get that thing going, immediately turn the acetylene up a little bit, and what you're looking for is this, folks. When that black soot disappears, basically, you've got the right amount of volume of acetylene, okay? So let's do that step. I'm going to turn this on, crack it open, strike it in one fluid motion, crank that up quickly until that black soot disappears right there. You can see. Okay, let's go over that again. From scratch, here's where we're at. Step 1, back out the regulator adjusting screws. Okay, step 2, back open oxygen all the way at the tank. Step 3, back open the tank for the acetylene to 1/4 to 1/2 a turn. Okay, there is your first 3 steps. Step 4, turn the oxygen on at the regulator to 37. Step 5, turn the regulator adjusting screw in to 5 pounds on acetylene. Step 6, we're going to crack this thing open. Okay, I'll do that again. Quickly, 1/4 of a turn, and as quick as we can, we're going to adjust that to where that black soot is gone. Okay. All right, step 7. You guys, this is going to be a little bit hard to see because the camera doesn't pick up the color very well from what I'm looking at, but you'll get the idea. So this is a tip for you that a lot of people don't know about, and I think you're going to find this to be very handy. So watch this. I'm going to turn the oxygen valve on at the torch, but I'm not going to bring the cone all the way to the torch tip. I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to actually bring it until that white cone is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. About like that. Now, it's easy for me to see, but I know on the camera it doesn't show up that well. But I'm going to bring that to where that inner blue whitish cone is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. Once I get it there, then I'm going to do my last step. This is step 8. Press the oxygen valve lever right here on the torch, which is going to give this huge influx of oxygen to blow the material away after it's got hot. I'm going to press that, and then I'm going to do my final adjustment of the oxygen knob to bring that cone to this tight little white-blue cone, and inside it, all of this, you're going to see this fine little jet stream. So watch the last step, step 7, okay, was to bring that to where that was about 1.5 inches long. Step 8, final step, press the oxygen lever, and then bring the final cone adjustment tight, right there. And then you can't see it very well, but I sure can. There's this beautiful internal little jet stream inside there, which is going to cut really good. Okay, let's review this whole setup one more time. Okay, folks, you get up here. Step 1, back out the regulator adjusting screws. Step 2, okay, turn on oxygen tank knob all the way. Step 3, crank open the acetylene tank a quarter to a half a turn on that knob. Step 4, turn oxygen in to where it's 37 pounds on the regulator. Step 5, turn the acetylene regulator adjusting valve in to where that's at 5 pounds. So 37 oxygen, 5 acetylene. Next step, I crack open the acetylene valve just barely at the torch, and then I strike it, and then I get my flame going and immediately crank it up enough to where that black soot disappears. Let's do that in one fluid step. Crack this open at the torch about a quarter of a turn, strike it, immediately drop that, bring that as fast as I can to where the black soot disappears, right there, okay? All right, we are on step 7. Step 7 is to open up the oxygen valve until that little white bluish flame gets to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. So here we go. I open up oxygen. Okay, my flame on the inside now is a blue whitish color, but it's long. I keep very gently, slowly moving my oxygen until that flame's about 1.5 inches long. Last step, I simply press the oxygen lever, which is going to allow a big amount of oxygen to flow into the system. And then I fine-tune that blue-white flame until it's tight, which will leave this internal jet stream that is one of the keys to great cutting. So press, last step, number 8, press the oxygen lever down, adjust the oxygen a little bit more, tighten that up just like that, and then that's going to leave this blue internal flame. Okay, those are your 8 steps. Know them, they have to be in order, period, on starting this thing up properly. I'm going to shut this off, and we're going to make a new video on how to shut it down.